A huge fire outbreak ravaged an entire compound to ashes, leaving the family homeless. The Gambia's Press Union calls on the National Assembly for the adoption of the Access to Information Bill. And on diplomatic ties, Portugal's ambassador to the Gambia presents his letter of credence. These and more coming on Gambia24. Stay tuned. Good evening, you're watching Gambia24. I am Sohna Tunkara, and now to our news in detail. A huge fire outbreak in Farato has ravaged an entire compound to ashes on Monday, leaving the family homeless. The inferno burned down furniture and other valuable property worth thousands of dollars, and the victims of this unfortunate incident are left in dismay. More of that in this report. The incident happened on Monday morning, about 11 a.m., and the fire continued burning until around 4 p.m., burning down everything from the rooftop to the ground. Esetunjai, the house owner, says the fire was caused by an electric fuse. She loses a substantial amount of cash, foodstuff, appliances, and $850,000 worth of furniture from our findings. She explains how she learns about the incident.
I was not here when the fire started. My neighbors called me and informed me of it. That is when I rushed to the fire service in Serekunda, and they told me that Bekama is responsible for my area. Even though I told them that my house is burning to ashes, they insisted that I should go to Bekama. My neighbors were also calling the fire service, but they were not picking.
Fire incidents indiscriminately causing disasters are common in the Gambia, and to many, the fire rescue service do not respond quickly to calls or show up late with empty tanks. Aissatou shares the same belief.
According to the fire service people, sometimes people do prank them, but to me, that is not an excuse. Unfortunately, they came late and said their tank was empty. They went back and came for the second time with a half tank, and the water was not even enough to put out the fire.
She says the damage had already been done before the arrival of the rescuers. She says she is dreadful.
By the time they came, everything was burnt to ashes. The fire was uncontrollable. I lost everything.
Although it is yet to be confirmed as to what caused the fire, many claim it is caused by electricity. The dejected family is seeking support from the government and philanthropists to help in whichever way they could. For African News, Sohna Tunkara. We're sorry to the victim of the fire outbreak that left them homeless. Now, the ambassador of Portugal to the Gambia, His Excellency Victor Paul da Costa Serrano, today presents his letter of credence to the Gambian leader, Adama Barrow, at the State House. Ambassador Serrano is the latest to present his credentials, and shortly after presentation of his letter of credence, Mr. Serrano told the press of his nation's initiative in building a stronger bilateral relation with the Gambia. Ambassador Serrano commends the Gambian government's effort in managing the devastating pandemic and outlined several areas Portugal plans to improve with the Gambia. There is more of that in this excerpt.
As you would expect from a leading country in the region, I would like to thank in particular the Gambian Protocol and His Excellency the Minister of Foreign Affairs for this. In an increasing and challenging environment, where the fight human security issues in all domains demand a comprehensive and coordinated approach, we, Portugal, we appreciate all the efforts the government of Gambia has been putting in place to fight and control the COVID-19 pandemic. This is, for us, a worldwide effort, and vaccine equity is, in our view, ultimately about human rights. Vaccines must be a global public good, accessible and affordable for all. It is clear that effective multilateralism remains at the heart of the Gambia's foreign policy, and this is a clear common point of view with the Portuguese geopolitical viewpoint. There are, from today on, a number of areas where bilateral relations between our two countries be further developed. From technology to agriculture and tourism, but special to blue and green economy and maritime security.
That was the ambassador of Portugal to the Gambia, Mr. Serrano, speaking to the press shortly after presenting his letter of credence. Now, on a similar mission, the president presents certificate of appreciation to the outgoing economic troops in the Gambia. Mr. Adama Barrow expressed appreciation to the gendarmerie for their support in maintaining peace and stability in the country throughout their stay. Many ECOWAS soldiers were deployed in the Gambia following the disputed December 2016 presidential elections to manage and restore democracy in the country. The intervention began in January 2017, and in June 2017, the term of the ECOWAS military mission was extended by a year. The mission is ongoing as of August 2020 and is expected to continue through at least 2021. From that, the Gambia Press Union on Thursday organized a workshop on the importance of accessing information during elections, improving transparency and accountability in electoral process in Africa. Access to information has been established as a fundamental right in regional and international law. Desise tells us more.
Access to official information may be restricted only if it is necessary. But in the Gambia, access to official documents has ever been a problem for journalists, activists, and citizens at large. However, the Gambia Press Union at a workshop brings together representatives from civil society and the media to share experiences on access to information in elections, as well as to make recommendations for free and fair elections. GPU has passed an Access to Information Bill to the Gambia National Assembly for adoption and ratification to make easy access to information. The Vice President of GPU, Mohamed Esba, highlights that parliamentarians should see this bill as a life-saving document.
Also before the Parliament, and I think the National Assembly should see, and all stakeholders should see the bill as a life-saving machine, which is important to all Gambians. The Gambia is one of the few West African English-speaking countries without an ATI law. The GPU and Civil Society Coalition on Access to Information has been at the forefront to get this law or legislative framework to be enacted.
Many are optimistic that parliamentarians will adopt and pass the Access to Information Bill. John Charles Njai, Civil Society Coalition on Access to Information, encourages journalists and civil society activists to mount pressure on the National Assembly to pass the bill.
Also, as I end, let me encourage you to please call your National Assembly members. The Access to Information Bill is before the National Assembly. Call them from this meeting, during your breaks. Call them, tell them in March, please give access to information priority. I think we are very laid back as a people. And if all of us begin to call our National Assembly members and pile the pressure, I believe something will happen. And we will see the desires that we have begin to come to fruition.
Mohamed Sise, an activist, says access to information in elections is essential as Gambia will soon head to the polls. Mr. Sise hopes that the bill is passed by the parliamentarians.
Parliament not passed yet, but we are expecting that it is passed by our parliamentarians, that it doesn't suffer the same hiccup that the Constitution suffered, because the Access to Information Bill is something that is very special. It's supposed to be called our maiden bill, because we have never had such in this country, and I will urge our parliamentarians to make sure that this bill is passed and then made available as a law, so that access to information becomes something that is legally binding upon every Gambian and upon every citizen of the country.
Access to Information Bill was submitted to the National Assembly in December 2019. The bill is expected to go through the committee and subcommittee stages and be debated by parliamentarians before finally becoming a law. Reporting for iAfrica News, I am Desise.
From the reports by Ndai Sise, moving on to the Truth Commission, on Thursday continues to hear testimonies from witnesses who were directly involved in the issue of the West African migrants. The migrants were apprehended at the shores of Barra in 2005, and it was later discovered that they were allegedly massacred. The first witness to face the commission today is the defense attached to Nigeria, Ansar, who told the commission how he got to know about the migrants. Khadijatu Seka reports.
In his testimony, Ansar explains how they were informed about the arrest. He says they were at the Makati Square celebrating the 22nd July celebration when he heard from Usman Sonko that there was a large number of people arrested on the shores of Barra.
About an arrest of so many people around Barra.
Di japak ay nit ci Barra.
I don't know what further messages he received because it was a phone call.
Xamuma nak yeneen bataaxel yu ci topp nag ndax ti yëfi téléphone la.
But thereafter where we were seated.
Waaw nag ci jamono fi ñu toogoon.
And informed us that were arrests were made at Barra of so many people.
Ci la ñu yëgal nag ne am na ñu jàpp ay nit ñu bari fële ca Barra.
But did not explain
waaye nag biralutoon
of the arrest and what they committed or whatever.
The second witness, Ibrahima Jallow, who transported the migrants from the port of Barra, told the commission the description and number of migrants that were arrested.
Yes. Togolese Saba.
3 Australians and 3 Togolese.
And
44 Ghanaians. Yes. I can recall that. 44 Ghanaians, you said.
44 Ghanaians.
Ghanaian din tanna ninnani.
3 Sierra Leoneans. 2 Senegalese. And
3 Togolese.
3 Togolese.
44 Ghanaians.
Yes. There was one Ghanaian, he was the shortest amongst all the captives. And he was also bald-haired. He was a bald-head. And he too was oldest. According to the interview that was conducted in my presence.
Yes.
Any Nigerians?
Nigeria no be kono ba.
Anyway, hakilo mama.
I cannot remember, but for these ones, I remember fully.
In July 2005, 24 Ghanaian migrants and some other 12 other West Africans from Nigeria, Senegal, Togo, and Cote d'Ivoire, including 2 women, forcibly disappeared in the Gambia while on their way to Europe by sea. In 2008, a number of UN and ECOWAS investigators came to the country to make their findings on the alleged massacre of West African migrants, but the United Nations reported that the Gambia government was not directly or indirectly complicit in the deaths and disappearance of these migrants. Reporting for African News, I am Khadijatu Seka.
With that report by Khadijatu Seka on matters of the Truth Commission brings Gambia24 to an end. Always stay tuned with us for more of our interesting programs. I am Sohna Tunkara. Thanks for watching and bye for now.
The pride we take in our brand the work we put in to constantly change the landscape and elevate real estate in the Gambia, it's compared to none. From inception, our goal was to add value to the beautiful